Hello everyone, welcome back to Optimize Evony. It's been a long minute since my last video, but I wanted to do a video for you guys today. A lot has happened. Evony has gone wild in so many different ways that I have not covered in videos and stuff. I've just been crazy busy with personal life, but basically a ton has happened, starting with uh, Evany banning alts or taking resources, taking troops, taking gems from alts and even main accounts that have plundered a lot of resources. Evany Evany support saying that you're not really allowed to transport resources to another player or waybill things or things like that, even though those are built into the game. Uh, but that's not really what this video is about. I'm sure, as you guys know, Evany has dropped K45, so we can see that now the keep goes all the way up to 45. Uh, no longer is max at 40 here. We can just take a quick look at how to get to level 41. So basically, there's resources. Uh, Honestly, kind of in line with what I was expecting. These resources are a little bit less than what it takes to unlock uh, a T15 troop or level 40 troop building. So a little bit less than that, not too bad though. It's still going to take a long time to gather all those resources and stuff like that. Prereqs are walls 40 and then victory column level 5. So I have actually completed that, but that's this over here. And to get to level 5, from 4 to 5, you need 6 generals that have max specialties, and then I think like 3 generals that are over 7 uh, 7 million power or something like that. Um, but I'm assuming the max specialties is going to be the hardest part for most people there. Um, with K45, which to me, I think this is actually a little bit early for them to drop this. This was maybe about a year earlier than I expected them to drop K45. I'm still very much so catching up. Uh, and I will say that I do pretty well with resources. I do pretty well with speeds. So I would say maybe a little bit on the leading edge of things. Not a huge coiner, but I'm still, trying to keep up where I can. So you can see that I've unlocked T15 ground, T15 siege. I'm almost there for T15 mounts, and then not even close on T15 archers. And so I was kind of expecting at least another 6 months to be able to unlock all of the T15 troops, be able to maybe build some troops before K45 dropped. I'm sure there are a lot of you guys out there that are super discouraged by this. Um, what I will say with that is that it is it is a game. You are here to have fun. Um, there's of course going to be people that are rushing to K45, but there are still people who are, playing, having fun, um, and are even competitive at other levels. So just because you're not able to get to K45, immediately or, within 6 months or whatever you think is kind of a good pace doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be able to keep up. Even in this past All Stars, there was a keep that was K39, I think, and it went all the way to the finals. So uh, keep level is not necessarily the biggest determining factor of how well you're going to be doing. And Yeah, I would say be patient with things. Usually, what I've found is when they release a new keep version, so when they release K35 or K40 or K 45, um, the bosses, the rewards, and everything like that tend to increase to help people to get there a little bit faster. I mean, it still is a lot of work and it will take a long time, but it will get a little bit easier. And so, what does tend to happen there is that it's a good chance for people who had not gotten to K40 or were stuck, a little bit further back for them to kind of jump kind of forward and get to at least K40. Maybe not unlocking T15 troops or anything like that. But there are still benefits for getting to K40, and you're able to kind of catch up a little bit. I know what people are going to say. You're never going to catch up, and that's true. I mean, you're never going to catch up to the massive coiners, right? You know, Evony every single day it seems like unlocks different ways for coiners to get more buffs and increase that gap between the kind of top tier of paid players and everyone else. So. But again, that's fine. Play at your own pace. You don't have to feel like you have to compete with, the people who are going to get K45, in a few days, or maybe Evany will put some sort of uh, block on that, like they did with K40, where it basically had people have to wait 3 weeks or 4 weeks to actually get to K40, so that even if you have all the resources and the speeds, you can't necessarily do it in a day. So yeah, uh, you know, like I said, be patient, play at your own pace. It's fine. Um, uh, so the other things that they've kind of released with this update, they've released quite a bit. Some of it's really good, some of it's kind of what you expect, and then some of it is in my opinion not so good. Uh, so starting with some of the more minor stuff, and I probably won't get to cover everything in this video, otherwise it'll be, an hour long. I'll probably do more breakdowns on specific different things that I want to delve into a little bit further. But uh, one of the things that they've done is they increased the level of talents. So now, sorry, here where this was level 40, this was max before. Now you can increase this further. So you get more of these talents for people who have who have maxed these out already. That's going to be some nice buffs there. And then also of course the activatable skills are also increasing. So for example here, construction and research speed, you can increase that even further. I haven't maxed it out. I don't have as many of these dragon stones, um, but hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. The other thing um, is there's a couple different buildings that weren't here before. Actually, before we go to that, there is actually some additional things with spiritual beasts. There's basically ways to have this seal or increase their buffs, um, and that requires these kind of gemstone things, and then also gems. And then you can see that there's different kind of talents and ascensions that you can do here. Uh, as you can see, I haven't been able to unlock any of these, so I'll get a little bit more into that once I'm able to show you a little bit more how that actually works. But basically, it's going to be similar to ascensions that you see elsewhere. Then after that, like I said, there's two new buildings here. The Council of State, where you have the Senate, and then you can basically put these generals, one for melee or ground, mounts, archers, and then siege. I need to upgrade my building to do more here, but you can see that basically you can put a general of that type that has 5 or more stars here to get additional buffs, right? So if you have a 10-star general, you're going to get all of these buffs. Of course, that means that that 10-star general is not going to be available to fight. So if you have, let's say, a 10-star Elise or, Ludwig or whatever here, yeah, you would get all these buffs, but you wouldn't have that general to reinforce or attack or anything like that. So um, this basically means that we're going to have multiple copies of 10-star generals to basically get all of these buffs. And then, similar things um, with mounts and, the other ones as well. Um, Definitely put a 5-star general there. 5-star generals are not hard to get. You can find one that works and then enhance it to 5 stars. That's very cheap, and you can get this first level of buffs. Uh, Also here, there's this promotion. Uh, this is far away from me, so I'm not going to go into this too much, but basically you can again kind of ascend your title buff and get these additional buffs here. So these will be great when we can get them. It takes a long time. These golden twigs, basically you can get probably from packs eventually. Otherwise, you can get 6 from monster killing, and then 2 a day on the daily activity. Um, yeah, that's that's basically there. There's additional things that you can do here, like upgrading these. This will take the merit jades, which you can also get those from monsters, particularly the higher level monsters. I believe the new bosses that they came out with, the B18s, B19s, uh, really really just brutal bosses. Uh, the 8 Hydra 5s. I think there's going to be new Ymir 6s, Pan 6s, basically level 6 versions of every single boss that they have. So yeah, there's going to be ways to get these things. They're going to be expensive, but it looks like it's grindable for the most part. Then there's other titles here. This was the governor. There's also the commander and the marshal. These ones have different unlockables as well. It just requires that your council of state building be a little bit higher level. Uh, and I will be upgrading this as soon as the next event starts, and I can finish some of my buildings that I have going on right now. Um, the other new building here, and this, in my opinion, is not a good update, is this ideal land. And this ideal land, well, you can see that I don't really have anything here. But let me just go to someone else's that might have something built. Yeah, so someone has, this is just someone on my server. They have something built here, but basically it's just a place kind of like the Sims or something like that, where you're just decorating something, and uh, basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to score these kind of tribute points. And so you'll build these either basic or ornament features. These ones will cost gems, the ornament ones, and then the basic ones will cost either resources or gems. And basically, you are trying to get enough points to actually be able to upgrade these buildings. So if we go back here, you can see that to upgrade the building, you need these prosperity points. And so by building things, you get prosperity. And but unfortunately, the prosperity points are blocked at 450 right now. So no one can get this to level 2 until they release something else, right? And I'm assuming that the releasing something else is going to probably be behind a paywall. We'll see though. Hopefully not. We you don't want them to be behind paywalls, obviously, but uh, it we all know better at this point. And this also gives some buffs as you upgrade it here. You can see that construction speed is 2 at level 1, and then you also start getting more actual troop buffs here. So, and it goes all the way up to level 5. And those are decent buffs, decent construction speed there. But what are you actually going to need to do to unlock that? It's it's kind of yet to be determined. Um, yeah, this to me, okay. I mean, I don't know. Does this really have a place in this game? If people want to have some sort of architecture or building aspect, there's plenty of other games for that. It just seems like they're really just trying to put everything possible into this game. This doesn't really take a lot of skill to unlock, but that's kind of in line with a lot of the other things that have kind of been going into the game. The other thing, I'll talk about this a lot more in coming videos as I actually unlock it. But basically, there's two new tiers of military academy. So basically, one's for melee and one for long range, so siege and archers primarily. And these ones are similar buffs to what we had before, except for these ones will have three different um, three different buffs here, and then two different debuffs. So, and it looks like the tactic scrolls are not actually too crazy for that. So, I guess we'll see. But this requires, you can see here that this requires Military Academy level 6, which requires level 41, or at least keep level 41. And then, of course, as we go down, I'm assuming that the last one's going to be, level 10, Military Academy level 10, which will be at k45. Wow, that's crazy. Almost 5,000 tactic scrolls for a single research. But, uh, I mean, that's pretty good debuffs there. And then 15% attack across all of all of those ones. So yeah, I mean it's going to be super powerful. You're going to see buffs go up a ton, but again, it'll take time for people to get here. Besides, the top coiners, and most of us still have quite a few researches to do in the rest of the academy here. Um, I will say one of the things that I do like that they did is they added more to the normal academy. They added this defense advance um, tab, and this has a whole bunch of defensive research and also, you know, all around research, has some healing research, which is really good. Uh, I always love maxing out the healing speed improvements first because anytime you're healing from bosses or from in battlefield or whatnot, you're using your heal speeds, and the more heal speeds you can save, the more you can use them for important events like SVS or Challenge or All Stars or whatever you're using your heal speeds for at your level. Um, and so what's cool about this, right, is that it's less behind a paywall, right? It's research stones, which as you can see, I have a million of, and I think most people have a ton of. Um, And so basically, it is going to require you to increase the level of your academy if you hadn't had left it at K35 or at academy level 35 like I did, because there was not really any reason to do it. Everything that you could unlock was unlockable at academy level 35. But here, as you can see, you need to upgrade it, but it does give a ton of different buffs. Uh, and so this is a nice way to, if you're not a Bitcoiner, if you're not going to get to K41 soon, I would focus on this research, right? Because you can get a lot of buffs here that you would, it would take a long time to get in the military academy or elsewhere. Let's just take a look at one of these. Uh, this is not a good example. Let me look at one that's actually has buffs. But yeah, you can see that for the defending city, you get 13% HP buffs for all troop types. And this is basically maxed for Academy 35. This obviously goes up quite a bit further here, all the way up to level 25. But this is what I can do right now. But I mean, increasing your HP buffs by 13% across the board is huge. And this is not the only one that does that. There's a whole bunch of research that does, different troop types, and these ones are for defense, um, all the different aspects of defense, attack on defense, HP on defense, defense on defense. That sounds weird, but that is what it is. And then you have these ones which will apply all the time, and those are percent increases as well. So tons of really good research here. For those that don't have tactic scrolls, you can do this. All you need is gold, research stones, and speeds. So, and leveling up your academy. But do really like that increase, or that release here of more research here, particularly because it does seem to be prioritizing a little bit the defense, right? We all know that the big coiners are going to invest heavily in these new tiers of military academy research. It's going to increase their attacks and their attacking stats significantly. And so uh, one way that they're balancing it a little bit is they're making it so that people can access the defense side of things earlier, right? Because it doesn't require tactic scrolls. It doesn't require you to get to K41 or anything like that. So I do like that. Um, there are a few other things that I won't get into everything, but one of the different things that they've added that is new, but you probably already are unlocking some of these things, is that for these troop buildings, basically once you get past 35 on a troop building, you start getting these buffs. Um, and so it really actually makes it so that you are getting something for upgrading these buildings before you can unlock like the next tier of troops. So, right, I stayed at 35 for my archer camp because I hadn't started working on it yet, and there really was before this was no reason to level it up to 36, 37, 38, 39 until you would be able to actually get it to 40. That was kind of the next big thing because you would unlock T15, whatever troop type. But now, even if you only get it to 36, you're unlocking an extra 5% range troop attack, which is super nice. It is nice to be rewarded for kind of these in-between steps. Of course, it means that there's there's a lot more buffs that are being added here. But I think that was one of the main complaints with K40 is that T15s were so expensive to unlock that they really weren't even worth it in a lot of cases. Where, you could have a keep that was K40 Military Academy 5, but did not invest in the troop buildings and just built a bunch of troops, and they were doing great, right? Like they were able to have good buffs, and the added tier was important but not necessary, right? And it just costs so much in terms of resources and speeds and everything to unlock it that a lot of people just decided to build troops instead. Here, you can build, the intermediate levels, even if you're not getting all the way to level 40 or level 45, to unlock the new tiers of things, you can still get nice buffs here. So uh, that's kind of nice. It's new, and so for example, a lot of people probably have already gotten these buffs. So I'm very curious to see in the next battlefield what my buffs look like, because I just kind of overnight I gained a whole bunch of buffs. And then I did a whole bunch of that normal academy research and stuff like that. So you can see, because I have unlocked T15 ground, I have all of these additional buffs that are going to be here. So that's kind of nice. Um, there's other stuff here, but this has already gone on long enough. So I'm probably going to cut it here, and I will have follow-up videos on kind of the specifics and what I think makes sense to prioritize first. One quick thing before we go, one of the major updates here is that they increased the support subordinate city capacity. So basically, they uh, they had two different tiers of VIP levels that unlocked additional sub-city slots. One was, I think, VIP 15, which is where this is coming from, and then as you can see, VIP 18. So once I get to VIP 18, if I ever get there, I will unlock another slot here. You can see that I can already pick up a new sub. So there's a lot of people that are in the market for subs right now. A lot of people that have been giving away subs that they've won and stuff like that, that now need to actually get those subs. But one nice thing about that is that that's going to increase the debuffs, right? And so while they're increasing the buffs quite significantly, they're also going to be allowing you to increase your debuffs by adding another set of uh, your equipment, the equipment debuffs, your subgens, specialties with the subgens, ascensions with the subgens. So it is nice. There still is, you can get up to, I guess this is 12 subs now if you have the Glory expansion order, which only a few people in entirety of Evony have, but a lot of people will be at 11 subs now. All the people that have been basically at VIP 18, because if you're at VIP 18, that means that you already have unlocked Archduke, because that's a benefit of getting VIP 18, and so you've already had all the other ones, all the other subs unlocked as well. So um, yeah, just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of everything that has changed. Hopefully you guys don't freak out too much about it. It, I've been through many different version upgrades. Originally it was K25, went up to K30. People freaked out at that. Went up to K35. People freaked out at that. Went up to K40. People freaked out at that. And now, people are also freaking out. But uh, ultimately, I think we'll all be fine. We'll find ways to cope. we'll find ways to, improve our defenses, improve our offenses, so that we're able to, still play the game, in some capacity. Um, but yeah, I guess let me know what you guys think of these updates. I gave some of my thoughts on them, but be giving a lot more of my thoughts as we kind of figure out more and more about these updates. Um, and I know there's going to be a push for people to be spending more, to be trying to advance, to be unlocking all the different things that they've kind of shown us you can do, spiritual beasts, dragons, all those stuff. But do remember, if you are going to be coining, do use Aptoide. Use my code Optimize to save yourself some money. There also will be a 5% extra day happening on June 26th, and that will be in the Lisbon, Portugal time zone again. So you'll have to check your Aptoide for when that's actually going to be starting for your time zone. But yeah, don't pay full price for any of these things. It's not worth it. Evany's not giving you any bonus things for buying it from Google Play or Apple. Aptoide is by far the best way to get packs these days. So use it. No reason not to. Um, I know there was some people are freaking out about pink gems, and pink gems kind of being mainstreamed. I'll have a separate video talking about that and how to actually use pink gems, why you would want to use pink gems. I know it's weird because a lot of people had things banned and stuff by pink gems, but that was not actually the concept of pink gems. That was the kind of pack loading aspect of that was why they were actually getting targeted. Um, but yeah, this video has gone on way too long, so I'll see you in the next video and get building.